The world is full of wonders.
Magic is hidden in small moments.
And monsters could be hiding just out of sight.
But if you're looking to find them,
adventure is waiting to happen.
You never know who you'll meet along the way.
We are the Storyteller Squad.
Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Before we get started, let's see how our heroes are doing.
Why am I still on a boat? I don't want to be... Good. I'm Hugo Rashad.
I swear to God, every time I think I've got the supernatural world more or less figured out, I get hit with something like Felicity Starnbrook is the harbinger of doom, and also somehow Ross and Aiden's reincarnated daughter. I'm Agent Whittaker, and I'm getting too old for this.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Did you write one and then forget it?
And I'm Raven Eugenia. The intro. I forgot what I was going to say, and I'm Raven Eugenia.
There you go. Yeah, that was it.
Every coherent thought has just left my brain at this moment. I am Raven Eugenia.
Disclaimer. Please do not attempt anything Damien does, at home or ever. He's magical and evil, not a role model. I'm Damien Edgecrest.
Hey guys, this ended up being a lot more than I signed up for when I thought we were going to go and find a cute lake monster, and then there was a mutiny. I'm Felicity Starnbrook.
My backstory is longer than everyone's, but the Keeper can't complain because she wrote it herself. I'm Aiden Brightwood. Let's have an adventure. So last time, our group had to race after performing some big magic on their friend Aiden to catch Pike's team, who had discovered the hunters' pre-knowledge of a Willatuk Lake Monster, and they set out to find that monster in the night. Damien, however, stowed away and was on board when Cooke performed a mutiny, which Felicity saw through her ability to get visions of dangerous happenings. Cooke's betrayal and allegiance with the smoke monster that Hugo has been getting visions of, and his connection to King Octopus, became pretty apparent, and the hunters took Gary's boat, the Vivian's Song, and arrived in time to save the baby lake monster, thanks to some powerful summoning spells from both of our agents in training, Raven and Felicity. And Damien decided to give up on retrieving evidence in order to get everyone off the sinking ship Happens after defeating Cooke in a magical knockout match. Meanwhile, Whittaker and Aiden, across the ocean in Scotland, witnessed visions from the life of the spirit that is trapped within Agent Ross's cursed sword. It turns out Ross is possessed by the warrior ghost of Aiden's partner from long ago, who died under mysterious circumstances fighting a bunch of giants. After reeling from the amount of information and memories that were sent into her brain, Ross panicked and seemed hellbent on finding a dangerous person who she called a harbinger of destruction. After a fight with Aiden, Spiegel, and Whittaker, Ross eventually calmed it down, came to her senses, and was able to process everything in a more stable emotional state. But with questions raised, Whittaker posed the question to Aiden, who is Felicity? Getting the unexpected answer back, Aiden was once Felicity's mom. We're going to pick up right there, because where else could we after lore drop like that? Whittaker, you, Aiden, Ross, and Spiegel are at the moored boat that you've taken here to Fingal's Cave. Spiegel is getting the boat ready to depart. Ross is just sitting on one of the flat shale rocks with her sword slung over her back and staring indirectly at the middle distance. Aiden and you were towards the secret entrance of the cave and having this heart-to-heart, basically, about everything you just experienced together in this giant crypt known as Orden's Tomb.
How long have you known?
I started to suspect it when I saw what her magic was capable of. It's not like what most people who cast spells can do. and she stops time and messes with fundamental forces.
She's not sort of co-inhabiting the body the way, like Ross's situation. It's not like the ghost of your daughter is tied to it. How did this happen?
It's not like what's happening to Ross, but I don't know. I'm honestly, well, it's just that we were drawn together again, which I'm thankful for, but seems almost inescapable.
Are you sure she's not like sort of a descendant? Because that was a long time ago.
No, there's only been one person who can do magic like Felicity.
One other thing, Aiden. Ross, when she was taken over by Freya, was it? Why did she want to hurt you?
I'm pretty sure that was Hillary freaking out. I don't know how much control Freya can have. It seems she's just granting her power with the sword. Honestly, I'm surprised you're taking it as well as you are. I mean, and she kind of stops and doesn't say what she's maybe thinking to you, Whittaker, in that moment.
I mean, there's only one way you can take things when they come up in this line of work, and it's you take it and go. I just want to get a better idea of how all this happened, like what exactly is going on and what we do about it now.
Whittaker, you can't tell her about this. Her connection to me makes her a target. And I couldn't save her last time.
When your sister attacked us in the mall, did she know?
I think she suspected. But Felicity hadn't been using her powers as much then.
I mean, I'm worried she might become a target regardless.
Felicity has such a good life now, and I don't want to ruin it with all of this. I don't need her to be Aisling. I just want to protect her. She's already had a parent disappear on her in this life, and I don't want to be another one.
I'm not gonna tell you how to approach this. This is really more your fight than mine, but I think that's something she'd want to know.
I'm going to check in with you, Whittaker, as keeper. In this moment, do you think Lonnie is looking for more information out of Aiden, or just trying to sort out his own feelings, having befriended her and Felicity over the past month or so?
It's both. The main thing is, like, if we don't know, like, how this happened, I guess there's not a lot we can do from there information-wise. I'm gonna be honest, Whittaker is burning to ask the question, hey, how'd you lose your daughter? But
the thing you know, because Aiden said this already, is she doesn't know why Felicity / Aisling is back. She doesn't know how that happened. She wasn't involved. She just happened to bump into Felicity one day when she came to Autumn Falls, and then everything happened that brought Felicity more into the supernatural world, and by hanging out with Aiden and Aiden seeing her powers, she put together that this was the thing that had happened, and is also not really sure what to do about it. She also didn't know that her partner is in a sword as a ghost. That was news to her.
It's rough,
once they met. Yeah, once they met at the Eastey Agency, when she and Agent Ross met for the first time. So
yeah,
she's known that she's known that has been a thing since the fight with the radio ghost, because you'll recall that they had their fight where he was shoving memories into each of them, and you gather now that that was why Ross and Spiegel took off right away after that to come back here and try and get more clear answers. But the reason behind Freya's unfinished business is pretty easy to piece out, I would think, but also why all the pieces are coming together as they are, that's sort of just, you'd have to chalk it up to like, well, they did. Now what? I think your line of questioning concerning the demons was definitely something you could pursue if you wanted to. But again, it's up to Whittaker how much he wants to push the issue.
Sorry, what, the demons?
When you were asking about her sister and like
Rath's
involvement and how much she knew and all that.
Whittaker sits back for a bit, thinking about it all. If Rath suspected, and since then Felicity's only been really using her power more and more, what happens when that gets confirmed? Are angels not allowed? Is there ever a problem with angels having children with that sort of power?
Aisling's the first child an angel's ever had. I'm the only angel who's ever walked the earth with people and Freya was the only person I was ever that close to. We don't even really know how Aisling came about the first time.
If, when Roth said she was a harbinger of doom, I know she's powerful. Do we have reason to believe that that could be a problem?
Absolutely. It was a problem with Aisling. She was a lot younger when she started to discover her powers and abilities. And we tried to foster them. It was a different sort of age, Whittaker. There were magicians and druids, and people knew what I was. Magic was not a thing inherently to be feared, but with Aisling's magic, it was more powerful than what any of us had come to expect. And I think maybe that's what drew my family's attention to her.
What did she do? What could she do?
What couldn't she? You weren't there when Felicity and I practiced her magic the first time, but she told me she just thinks about doing a thing and makes it happen. Aisling said something very similar to me once. She could talk to magic and she could sculpt it however she wanted to. It was like there was no limit to how much she could perform. Most sorcerers or wizards, it takes a toll to use magic, but after a while Aisling just, it was like breathing to her, and the people that we lived with got scared. Also, the folk, the fae, the people like Mira, the giants, they all started to worry about what Aisling meant, what she could do to the world. Someone that powerful is automatically a threat to a lot of people.
And when those people got scared and got worried about that, I can't imagine things ended well.
We were fooled. And I'm gonna say that Aiden tells you this story, but we will transition directly to her first-person perspective for this. Orden, the king of the giants, asked for Freya and I to meet with him in his court. He said it was a matter of great importance and that we should come alone. We had good relations with the giant folk. It was not really anything to be suspicious of. Orden turned on us. He said that he wanted the power of the child for himself, and replay of the scene where Freya and Aiden are fighting for their lives against a horde of giants together and managing to succeed, whether out of their bond of teamwork, love, or the drive of two parents knowing that something was wrong and that they needed to get back to their kid. I don't know exactly what happened because I wasn't there. You see Aiden hugging Freya as she dies on the sword and rocketing into the sky. She approaches a village which is charred, not completely destroyed, but on fire in many places, being put out. And the people in the village are gathered into two separate groups. Aiden lands, and one of the warriors of the village comes up to her and goes to speak to her, but she just puts a hand up and walks past him down the path of the central road in the village, where there are more warriors and people of the village standing. A lot of them have weapons or torches or bows with arrows nocked. When they see Aiden coming, they seem a little scared, and she is already weeping because she just had to say goodbye to Freya and sees on the ground the body of a young girl impaled by 5 or 6 arrows. And there are clearly swaths of destruction on this half of the village that radiate out from this young girl who is now dead. And Aiden drops in front of her, picks her up and cradles her for a moment, and just sobs. And you see the warrior that tried to stop her come over and grab another person who looks like maybe he was a leader of a group that turned on Aisling, and is shaking him and yelling and cursing, but it's all silent. We just hear that ringing sound as Aiden grieves. Eventually that first guy lets go of the other one, goes over to Aiden and puts a hand on her shoulder, and he kneels down to try and say something to comfort her and apologize that he couldn't stop what happened. And she says, very quietly, devoid of any of the usual kindness or empathy that her voice carries when she speaks, I have watched over you since the dawn of your species. And you killed the one person I would send myself from this world for. Azazel can have you. And she teleports from where she's holding Aisling, and she's in front of the other one that this friend of hers had been berating and cursing for having done this thing. And she touches his chest, and he explodes with a flash of light. And she steps towards the rest of that group of the gathered villagers with the bows and the weapons. And you hear that warrior, and he says, Aiden, no! And runs over to her and tries to, restrain her, pull her back. Let go of me, Killian. Don't do this. It isn't you. You don't get to decide what I am. Touches him, also explodes. And we see her radiate with this light and rise into the sky as the villagers start to scream and run as the shock wears off and they realize that this being they've been living with and treating like a friend has now turned on them. And we just hear her voice narrating over the scene. I don't know how many of them fled, but I finished what Aisling started. There was nothing left. And we see her landing, picks up the body of her daughter, and takes off, but there is no village left. It is just blackened, smoking earth. No bodies, no buildings, not a single scrap left. We come back to the moment with you, Whittaker, and Aiden wipes more tears from her eyes. I'm sorry.
If she lets him, Whittaker's gonna reach out and just tentatively squeeze her arm. He doesn't know if he'll ever grasp the scope of the story she's telling him, but God, he wants to do something.
She absolutely will hug you and cry into his flannel shirt.
I'm so sorry.
I don't want to mess it up again.
I'm so sorry. Aiden, I've never been in your position in any respect, but if things don't change, history will only repeat itself the way history tends to do. And if she doesn't stop using her power or doesn't have guidance on what could happen, I don't want any of that to happen again. And I'm sure you don't either.
I just don't know what to do next. I can't know what's going to happen. And it makes it scary to make the next move.
I don't know if a parent can be there for their kid every single time. And I know you want to change that. I feel like the best any parent can do is give their kid as much information as they can and hope that'll guide their decisions, as opposed to step in between them and anything that ever comes their way. I know it's not advice that's meant for the scope of what we're talking about, but I don't know. I mean, I've never been a parent. I'm not sure I have the best wisdom here, but
I've never been dead and come back. I don't know what to tell her. How do you start a conversation like that?
Start by buying her some crepes, sitting down, and the way any awkward conversation between a parent and their kid starts. God.
I know you're not as old as you look, but I think she really looks up to you in a sort of parental kind of way.
I don't know if I can be that for her.
I'm not saying you should be, and that's a whole other thing. I'm not her mom. I'm her friend. But I'm really glad you're here for this, Whittaker.
Yeah. I want you to approach this in whatever way you see fit. Obviously, your wisdom is vastly infinite in comparison to mine.
I wouldn't say that at all, but...
But speaking as a kid who's had parents and who's had parents who, haven't always told them everything, I feel like if I was her, I'd want to know. I mean, obviously she's already curious about where her powers come from. She's already started talking to people at the Eastey Agency. She wants to know more about herself.
And if I don't have those answers?
You have a start.
And at this point, Ross approaches the two of you. She says, we're about ready to go. Listen, I'm sorry about how I reacted. I don't actually want to go kill Felicity, in case that was not clear.
You had me fooled, Ross.
Listen,
you had me fooled.
All right, Whittaker, okay. I was feeling a lot all at once, and usually she gestures at the sword on her back, usually she makes it so I don't feel much at all. It was just too much too fast. I'm good. Aiden lets go of hugging you, Whittaker, and she says, don't worry about it, I'm fine. Ross just kind of sneers. She's like, don't lie to me. I know all your tells now.
I would like to note, Whittaker is not fine. He's at 3 harm. Listen, Aiden might be fine. Whittaker is not.
Oh, I'm not saying Aiden's fine either, but she's, it's Aiden. That's what she would say. But she continues. She says, Hillary, I'm really sorry you've been tied to all this. And Ross, for a minute, and you would notice this more so than anyone else, Whittaker, because you've known her for so long, her face softens, and she just kind of looks at Aiden, looks at you, shrugs. Me too. And then her face hardens again to that usual expression. Let's get out of here. Turns around, gets in the boat with Spiegel.
Right.
And Aiden looks at you and is like, well, we don't have to go with them.
I cannot stress how much I don't want to be on this place right now.
Figure it out back home?
Figure it out back home.
She takes your hand, starts to glow with that golden energy. Mac, kind of from the speedboat, is just like, wait, what? And whoosh, you disappear in a flash of golden light.
Oh wait, I meant like I don't want to be on this specific island. I could definitely go with them. That'd be fine. Put like some water in between me and my crazy ex. God, it's glass him all over again. That's fine too. Bye, Spiegel. I had more questions for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you really wanted to stop Aiden, you could tell her, like, whoa, I don't want to. I mean, you have to get back to the group eventually, so.
Whatever. We're already going. Let's just go.
You go. You bamf. Figure it out at home. You vanish. Ross tells Spiegel to take off. They're in their boat going away from Fingal's cave. She's still looking back at it with that pensive look. And Spiegel, as he's driving, turns around to her and says, so, where do you want to go now? And she says, I want to find something to kill demons with. Our other half of the hero group from Autumn Falls has just pulled in on Vivian's song. Gary is mooring the boat. You guys have Pike's entire team in custody? That's kind of up to you. Where or what actions have you guys taken in the boat ride back from the sinking of Ship Happens? And who have you talked to of the group? I will say Pike is in not great condition, having been shot in the shoulder and lost a lot of blood because of Cooke shooting him. Cooke looks very ill, having been drained within an inch of his life by Damien's demonic abilities. Beverly, the diver, is freaked, but not particularly injured in any way. She basically had to go through the experience that I would imagine most divers are scared of, which is to dive and then come back up in the middle of open ocean with no boat around. And then, thankfully, you guys are able to find her, thanks to the help of the Selkie spirit that Raven summoned. Richards is fine. He just lost his boat. He's kind of sad about that, but he will talk to anyone who wants to talk to him. And Alice is very reserved and probably just processing everything that she just saw and had happen to her. And that's where you guys are at.
Damien would be sitting right next to Cooke and lounging, enjoying himself after a job well done.
That's very in character. I agree.
You said there was the one person who was bleeding out. Who is that again? I forget.
Pike, the original
Pike,
leader before
yes.
Cooke's mutiny. Yeah. And he's not bleeding out, he just has lost a lot of blood because he was shot.
Okay. But he's not doing well.
He, I would say, is stable but harmed.
Okay. Cool.
To put it in game terms.
I'm gonna go up to Raven and kind of whispering to her. So, how much do we really want these people to know? Because I feel kind of bad for that guy who got shot. I feel like this wasn't really his fault, and I would like to help him, but the only way that I know how to do that is maybe questionable in what we would like them to know. I know Damien kind of did a little bit of something back there, but I wasn't sure how much they really saw of that. Do you think that it would be okay? I just feel really bad because I feel like
No, I know. I don't want him to like die or anything. Do you think you could maybe do a little bit of healing magic, but like disguise it as regular first aid? Do you think you could do that?
I mean, what I'm afraid of is that I try to pass it off as regular, because I did kind of think of that a little bit, but then like what kind of regular first aid makes gunshot wounds maybe close? You know?
Yeah.
Should we just leave him?
I mean, he seems okay. We've got a first aid kit on the boat. We'll make sure he's stable and we'll get him medical attention. Like we're like docking right now, right?
You have landed at the pier and Gary has secured the boat, so you are back at the marina itself.
Then yeah, we should just get him off the boat right away. We should get him some medical attention for real. I think he'll be okay. But I totally get where you're coming from. I don't want anything really bad to happen to these people. It's not their fault they got roped into this.
I'll go up to the diver.
Okay.
And
she's actually helping Gary and Richards transport Pikes because he's like half conscious, kind of with it. He's just like in a lot of pain, so he's not really talking much, but she's helping carry him into where you had been taken, Felicity, when you passed out earlier in this adventure.
Aha, yes.
That same medical station, which is, again, not equipped to deal with a bullet wound. They're basically taking him there to clean the wound and then get him prepped to get out of here and get back to the mainland where they can send him to a hospital.
So once they get him situated, Felicity is going to go up to the diver and be like, hey, crazy stuff, huh?
This is not anything I was ready for. It was exciting at first, and now it's just really scary, and I just want to make sure Aaron's okay.
Yeah, me too. Did you guys, obviously you didn't plan for anybody to get hurt, but, did you know about this guy's whole plan?
About Cooke, that fucking asshole? No.
Oh, okay, we hate him. He's not good.
I mean, I'm surprised he's been working with Aaron for so long. I never would have seen this coming.
What do you think happened? That just, turned so quickly.
I wasn't there. He cut my line when I was on the dive, and then you guys found me, and Aaron was shot. And Cooke is not doing well either. Honestly, I don't care, because,
Fuck
whatever.
That guy, right?
Yeah, but I have no idea why he would turn on our team like that.
Okay,
Money, I guess?
Yeah, he kind of seemed a little bit like an asshole before, but now we know. So you had no... Did you know that there was a rocket launcher?
What?
Take that as a no.
Yeah, you get the sense that, Beverly was not in on any of the stuff Cooke had packed to betray her team with.
Cool. I like her.
She's just she's just a marine diver. She just wanted to see a sea creature, and then all this happened, so.
Hey, Ward, Turner, are you guys planning on pressing charges against Cooke here? Or can I take care of him? Oh, no, I didn't. Phrasing.
Alice has seen you as a slime, Damien, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. She saw your fight with Cooke. She was on the deck when you fought him.
Yeah, I got a little slimy on that fight.
She knows you're weird. Actually, you gave her a card and were like, here, join our secret agency. She's been looking at that this whole time, just kind of flipping it over and running her thumb along the embossed Eastey Agency crest that's on this card. And you say, do you want me to take care of him? And she just looks up what does that mean? And Turner says, if you can take him into the authorities, and yeah, I want to sue his ass. He tried to drown me, and also he shot my boyfriend. And Richards is in the back like, and he sucked my fucking ship. Fuck this guy. Richards has more, I think, field experience, so he's working with Gary to actually treat Pike's wound at the moment. But yeah, they seem absolutely down to get this guy sent away for as long as they can.
Well, in that case, Damien's gonna duct tape up his hands and say, well, then I am done here. I will let the authorities sort things out. Alice, we'll be in touch.
Sure. She seems non-committal, a little nervous.
Are we leaving, Damien?
I think they can take things from here.
All right. As we walk out, I'll go, all right, see you guys later. I'm glad not all of you are evil. That's a happy change of pace. Bye!
Also, Alice, before I go, I'm not a great representative of the agency, so there's plenty of other people that I'm sure you would get along with a lot better. I can be a bit intimidating.
Can Raven kind of shoo Damien on his way and be like, oh, okay, like, and kind of push him forward so she can talk to Alice?
Yeah, I mean, Felicity and Damien, you guys have taken Alice outside to talk to her, or you're just saying like, all right, goodbye, like, and leaving the room?
I just left.
Okay, you just left. Alice is sitting in the camp office, the main lobby area where you would go and sit and wait for someone who's getting first aid. So, yes, Raven, if you want to shush Damien and just get him out of here so you can actually have a sit-down talk person to person, you can.
She'll let him, like, finish his sentence, but then just gently kind of be like, oh, okay, that's enough out of you.
Do you want to include Beverly in this, or just you and Alice?
Beverly, too, yeah. Raven just wants to sit down next to Alice, and if Beverly's kind of part of the conversation, too, that's okay.
I'll say that Beverly's attention is more focused in the other room, so she's not going to be hanging on every word, but she might overhear a few things that you say.
That's fine. Raven will just sit down next to her. Hey, are you okay? That was a lot.
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm not hurt. Should not mess with things like that, I guess. Not for science to know about, huh?
Yeah, not really. There's a reason stuff like that stays hidden. It's just better that way sometimes.
Do you like being that reason?
It has its perks, but I'm kind of new at it, honestly. Kind of an intern, you could say.
She reaches into her bag, pulls out a familiar notebook, and hands it back to you. I wouldn't have been able to tell. Also, I'm very sorry. I didn't realize Cooke stole this, and that you were actually looking out for us.
Raven will take it back and just sit quietly for a minute. And then she's gonna gesture to the business card that she's still holding for the Eastey Agency. If this is something you want to get into, you could contact us. But I understand if you don't want a part of any of this ever again, and that's okay.
I think I'm going to have to think about it. My life's work just swam away into a whirlpool and vanished, so I might just take a few days to go camping.
That sounds like a great idea. And Raven's gonna go to stand up and like jokingly like elbow her a little bit and be like, watch out for Bigfoot. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That was terrible. It was really nice meeting you.
Yeah, she kind of like laughs at that. She's like, okay, yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I thought you were cute too. And Raven, you know she's referencing a little like note you wrote in the margins of your journal.
Oh boy, Raven just goes like bright red and just kind of is like, it just waves a little bit and then kind of just like scurries out of the building.
I just want to know if Gary was there when Raven made the Bigfoot comment.
Gary is dealing with a man who's been shot, so yes and no.
It was completely a joke.
As you step out, and Damien, Felicity, you're there. Hugo, are you okay? How are you doing after that seasick-inducing boat ride?
Hugo is currently on his back on the dock, just looking at the sky.
So
Damien's gonna go over to Hugo. Hey, Hugo, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm good.
Solid, solid. You've known Aiden for longer than any of us, right? Being neighbors.
Known is a strong word, but yeah.
So I know she listens to like Celtic music. Does she listen to anything with any sex, drugs, or violence in it at all?
Depends on the Celtic music. I don't really listen in on her stuff that much. I let her have her privacy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm just trying to mend bridges, as it were, and I don't think music is going to be our bonding.
Ugh.
Are you good there? You ready to get up? I don't think we're going on a boat again.
Yep, I'm good. As everyone else.
Peachy. Well, everyone's better than Pike. Sounds like they're going to press charges on Cooke, so I'll just let him be the police's problem. And while I was debating informing King Octopus, because that would clean up Cooke as a loose end really fast, I'd rather King Octopus not know that it was us that did this.
You know what? I'm fairly certain he'll find out. And either way, jail is not enough to stop someone from his clutches. I've seen it once.
What do you mean
Probably gonna
you've
happen
seen
again.
it once?
Remember Wizardy Dude?
Yeah. Damien gestures at his pea coat. You saw Flint get taken out?
I saw him get got.
What did it?
Smoke.
I saw his head. It was a pretty clean cut for smoke.
All I'm saying is that when the Vorpal Blade goes snicker snack, heads will roll. Speaking of, give me a moment. And he turns over the side for a second.
Yep. Hugo retches off the dock. Raven, you come out and see Damien patting Hugo on the back as Felicity... What are you doing, Felicity, in this moment?
Felicity gets kind of grossed out when people are sick, so she's just standing back and like kind of watching, but being like, I don't want to be in either of these places right now.
Right around this time, where your old campsite was, there's a gold flash.
Oh wait, Aiden, I meant get on the boat with whatever.
I thought you wanted to come back.
No, this is fine too. It really.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
There's like a whole thing going on. We've got to go stop that team from getting the.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, I've been gone for like 12 hours.
Yeah, we really have to go check in with everybody. Oh crap! I should have gone back to Gary's.
Felicity is gonna go running towards.
Raven's
them.
also running. She's sprinting towards the golden light.
Oh God, they're running. Do you think?
Are they in trouble?
Oh fuck. Oh, I'm still wearing my fucking flannel.
You crash into them, Felicity and Raven, and yeah, there's a lovely reunion moment where our heroes have come back safe. Who goes to who first? Like, how does this play out?
Yeah, what's the initiative order for hugs?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run up to Whittaker, and I'm gonna be like, what the heck, man? Where did you go? I kind of peeked at you for a second there. I'm sorry. But I saw you were in the ocean a long way away? What happened?
He just hugs her for a little bit there.
Aww.
It's fine. Just took a quick tour to Scotland. Everything's fine.
You missed the, wouldn't say coolest, kind of sucked a little bit. Fight.
You were in a fight?
Oh yeah, we won.
Aiden looks at you, Raven. Wait. She's like, "It's over?"
Oh yeah, you just missed everything.
Is everyone okay?
All of us.
It's a lot to explain.
Does anyone know?
Depends on your definition of no.
Raven.
Oh, Whittaker, don't look at us like that. If you
Raven,
were
that's
there.
rule number one. It's rule number one, Raven.
The ship sank. There was a mutiny. They cut off Beverly the diver while she was in the water.
Wait, what?
And you catch everyone up on the happenings of the last couple sessions where they were not there.
Who tells Whittaker that Cooke's working for King Octopus?
Yeah, who mentions that? Probably Damien, maybe.
Raven's gonna turn and yell towards the dock and wave her arms and be like, guys, they're back! And try and get Hugo and Damien to join the group.
And we do. Agent Whittaker, you missed me being awesome. There was 0 body count. The only person who was really involved in the investigation has an Eastey Agency card, and I made it very clear that the only way she's going to continue studying such a thing is to join up.
All right. That's a bold move, and maybe not the most recommended course of action. But if that means she's not going to tell anyone, then I suppose ends justify the means. Do we know if Pike's going to talk? He seems like the biggest problem.
Yeah.
I can talk to Pike if need be.
That might be good.
I don't know how much we should really talk to him right now.
Well, does he know?
He's also probably getting airlifted to the hospital soon.
Jesus Christ.
Not my fault. I didn't shoot him.
Cooke shot Pike.
Cooke shot Pike because Cooke is, you said, working for King Octopus?
Felicity is the only person to have heard through her vision Cooke mention the king will have his prize soon.
Oh, okay, sorry. I totally thought Damien was the one who picked that
No, that
up.
was my mistake when I was rehashing things for you guys before the session that that Damien was there. Damien actually never saw the actual mutiny go down. He just arrived while Cooke had the gun pointed at Alice saying, "Get that thing in the net." So
I remember that bit. Okay, yeah, sorry. Just making sure I know what I know and not.
Yeah, okay. So
any
I would
extra.
definitely relay that whole vision.
So you are in the know about that fact now, Whittaker.
Okay.
Aiden looks at Raven and Felicity with a big smile on her face. Well, I'm glad you're both safe, and wow, I can't believe you handled it by yourselves.
Like real agents. Look at us go.
Yeah.
I can't believe you teleported across the world and back again in less than a day.
Well, I mean, only with your help. And she gives you a look, Whittaker, like, and this you can tell she's not implying anything about, like, don't talk about but she's just like, she's proud of them, and is like looking to you to be like, come on, tell them you're proud. Like, they did a pretty good job.
Miss Eugenia, Miss Stormbrook, Mr. Edgecrest.
Say it.
Perfect.
Very good work on wrapping up the Willatuk Monster case. I'll have some pointers for each of you, but I'm
As
glad this
expected.
has all been tied up.
Your performance review will be soon.
The performance review will be soon.
We're glad
No,
to
but
have you back,
seriously.
Agent Whittaker.
God, it's good to be back. But seriously, good job.
All in a day's work.
I will raise a question as keeper. Who's watching Cooke right now?
If they had left him on the dock, he would have been there with Hugo the entire time.
True. Did you rush over to hug Whittaker and Aiden, or are you still not
It's
feeling
not-
well enough to do that?
Because that wouldn't have, impacted his nausea in any way.
Yeah.
Also, he's not much of a hugger anymore. So yeah, he's still on the dock.
Whittaker is going to start walking back over there if he hears that's where Cooke is.
Whittaker, while I have you here, and this is just Whittaker and Damien in the walk back, I need to be honest with you since you're my coworker. I'm not quite an envy demon as much as I used to be. I've sort of gotten past that now, so I'm going to be less distracted by the monkey see, monkey do, and imitating people all the time.
All right.
Yeah, I'm proud of, myself. I think it's some good growth. I mean, I imagine you're pretty concerned because the way you'd be able to control and keep me in line is gone.
Yeah, what prompted that change, might I ask?
You don't know, Damien.
It would just be speculation and guesses.
Well, please keep me updated on how I can control you in the future, Mr. Edgecrest.
If it makes you feel any better, my big priority right now is keeping this friend group alive and well and as safe as possible, because Felicity is able to bring me back from the other place. So if you guys decided to stop being friends with me, then I would be shit out of luck and stuck in a place where I'm not welcome.
Well, I suppose I'll continue to keep as much of an eye on you as ever. My opinion towards you, if we're being honest with each other, hasn't changed much, but I appreciate your honesty. And
yeah, Felicity likes honesty or some bullshit.
Regardless, good work with this case, and you've been a good agent, Damien. Been a good agent.
Thank you. Well, I copy from the best.
Okay.
All right, fine.
Damien shares that he doesn't really feel the need to copy or imitate people anymore now.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So you're going over to the dock to talk to Cooke?
Talk is generous.
Okay.
Is he conscious?
He is barely lucid, but he is awake. His hands are duct tape. I think maybe you guys just left him sitting in the boat.
Can he walk?
Probably. Like you could force him to his feet if you needed to.
All right, get up. We're going on a trip. I pull him up by his lapels and take him off the boat. If he's marching, I'm going to march him into the woods.
Are you doing this out of sight of everyone else?
I mean, on the dock, you guys can probably see him, but, like, the goal is just take a short trip into the woods, find a clearing, and continue.
Whittaker. There's kids in those woods.
There's kids in... They can't be in the whole woods.
I'm just saying.
It's fine. Keep resting. Get some peppermint tea or something. You look like garbage. Actually, are you okay, Hugo? Hey, everyone. What's up with Hugo?
Damn. Damn.
Hugo, I'm busy. Hugo, I'm busy right now. I'm very busy right now. I hope you're okay, though. I do hope you're okay, and I hope that's clear. I am very distracted right now. Whittaker also looks like garbage.
That's true, yeah.
Hugo,
right.
You look good.
Aw.
Thanks, Damien.
No
Have fun
problem.
with your torture session.
Yeah, Hugo, actually, I'm not gonna lie, like, Damien, you do look a little bit like garbage.
You should go watch the torture session.
Aiden will help you sit up, Hugo. Just, like, bring you to be like, let's go get some tea or something made for everybody.
Whittaker, don't forget, he doesn't need those kneecaps.
What? Whittaker!
Nothing. It's fine. It's fine. Aiden, it's fine.
Okay. So who is actually following Whittaker with Cooke into the woods? Definitely a Damien. And also a Felicity? Ooh, I don't... Are you adamant about doing this, Felicity? Because Aiden would certainly be like, Felicity, maybe we don't.
Felicity certainly tries.
Okay.
She definitely tries. She just,
Raven, where's Raven landing on torture session?
We don't need to torture. We have need.
We don't need to torture. We just need to give the impression that we might torture. Come on, people.
The impression Whittaker is selling it, though.
That's good.
Oh, I feel like they're selling it a little bit too well, and Raven's actually afraid. I think Raven's going to follow them into the woods. If anything, if things get too crazy, she's going to try and tone it down.
What I like to think is that Felicity definitely wants to go. She definitely tries. And she begins walking after them. And then Aiden kind of just grabs and is like, no. No.
I don't want to take away moments of roleplay from anybody. So I will say that Aiden helps Hugo into the cabin and sees Raven and Felicity following Agent Whittaker. And she says, maybe this is a experienced agent's thing. And takes Hugo inside.
Wait,
Whittaker, would you like us to come?
No.
Okay. And Felicity's gonna go back to the cabin.
All right, Felicity leaves. Raven, you still gonna follow though?
I think Raven hesitates a lot at both of those things, and then still goes to the woods.
I will say this: Whittaker's. It's a strong no, but he doesn't look behind him when he walks.
So, Whittaker, you have Cooke as your prisoner. He's got duct tape over his mouth, but you rip that off. And I guess sit him down on a stump, push him against a tree.
Yeah, I was imagining large boulder or tree. Alright, rise and shine. Can you hear me?
You're not dead?
I'm not dead, and for some reason neither are you. But you might be if you're not going to cooperate with me.
Whatever, man.
dead anyway now.
But not for a few more hours if I can help it. You're gonna tell me everything you know before I send you under.
You think it's gonna be you, huh? Tough guy? Listen,
I
Gramps.
take him by the jaw and slam his head against the tree. Listen, man, I've had a pretty rough few hours just now, and I don't want to be taken lightly, alright?
Sure. I guess getting kicked to death by an old geezer's better than getting me old head chopped off.
Why is the king back in Portland? You're gonna tell me this right now.
Back? You suits don't really know anything, do you? He never left.
Has he always had the Eastey Agency in his pocket, or is that something new?
What?
Oh, great, now we're both learning something. That's fun. What you know about the agency? What you know about King's connection to it?
I don't know shit, man. He hired me to get the magical thing at the bottom of this fucking lake.
Do you know why he needs it?
Maybe he was gonna eat it. Huh? Maybe he's just a rich schmuck who likes to spend crazy amounts of money on stupid stuff. Like exotic pets. I don't know. Look at me, dude. I'm nobody. I'm pretty soon gonna be a dead nobody. You think I know anything about what's going on in that guy's head? You're crazier than him.
Cooke, what was the plan if you had succeeded? Would you call in?
That I'm going to make you either do your demon manipulate or just roll to manipulate Damien, because he's like, he can say, I don't know anything as much as he wants, but if you start to get specific about, like, where was the drop point, where blah, 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 like, that's stuff he definitely is not going to want to share willingly, because if there's any glimmer of hope in this guy's mind that King is not just going to snip the loose end that he doesn't want to absolutely ruin his chances.
Yeah, Damien is going to have his eyes flash green and attempt to exert his will, though that is a 6. So,
Rip. Can I help out by tightening my grip on his neck?
What's the wording of your move, Damien?
When you gaze into a normal human's eyes and exert your will over them, regular people will follow your order, whatever it is.
But you do still roll to do it.
Yes.
Does it say what happens when you fail?
It does not.
I will let you roll to help out Whittaker, but I'm going to say you need to get a full success on the help out. You can't just partially succeed.
Okay. Also 6. Oh, this is the worst torture session ever.
You came out a little strong, I would say.
Beat this bastard up.
Whittaker's mad, he's stressed, came on a little strong. You're both playing bad cop in this case, so there's no incentive for him to give you anything. Damien, your magic, you try and use it on him, but he just like has his eyes shut, and Whittaker's kind of in the way, and you're not working together well in this moment. So Cooke spits on the ground. He's like, "Fuck you guys. I'm not telling you anything else. Do whatever you want."
Fucking useless.
The other two wanted to press charges. I don't know if you want to try to take him into the agency separate.
I don't think it would make a difference.
Didn't last time.
Yeah. Would Whittaker know about Smoke Monster? Because I guess it's Hugo who knows about Smoke Monster, and he did not talk to Hugo.
Hugo had the vision of the Smoke Monster killing Flint. Damien met the Smoke Monster in a different form, but wouldn't know that they were responsible for Flint's death.
If it means anything, Hugo did let everyone else know about the Smoke Monster thing in general when they were back at the cabin and piecing together what had happened.
Or did you let Felicity and Raven know that?
Oh, good point.
Because Damien had left the cabin and he wasn't around when you guys had your talk at Gary's place.
Which is why Damien was asking about it at the docks.
True. So Damien knows that it was Smoke Monster that killed Flint. So I don't think Whittaker knows anything about the Smoke Monster being responsible. Actually, no, because Felicity, you saw it in your vision. So Whittaker, you know at least that a smoke creature appeared out of a case and then took off on Cooke's order to like send the message to King Octopus. That's all you know about it so far.
Was it in a briefcase or something, or a crate?
It was in one of the weapons
Gotcha, yeah.
cases that he had brought on board, yeah.
That thing you brought on board with you, What the hell is that? And is it still here?
It's on its way back to Portland. I don't know what it is. It sends messages. And it got me a few things to get the team riled up against your crew. It's fucking magic. You know all about that, right? Agent, sir?
Yeah, I know a thing or two. This is for endangering my team, and gives them one last crack across the face.
Goes unconscious.
Can I ask a quick
Fucking
question?
waste.
As Brittany or as Raven?
As the player, Raven's just been kind of hanging back, maybe like 15 feet away, just kind of leaning against a tree, watching and listening. Can she tell if he was lying about anything?
Interesting. Cooke was honest about the things he shared. He doesn't know what King Octopus was going to do with this thing. It was literally you will get a bunch of money if you bring this in for me. He doesn't understand magic. This is his first foray into a supernatural type of deal like this, so he doesn't know what the smoke creature is. He just knows that it worked for King O and he was helped by it. Is there anything in particular you were like suspicious about that he said, or?
No, honestly, he seemed to be telling the truth about all of it, and so that was confusing me. He seemed honest, and that seemed weird.
Well, he is caught, and he's a nobody in the pecking order, and he's been beaten. He's not going to get paid. He might be killed. The thing he didn't tell you about, and maybe would have lied about if Whittaker had pressed him, or if Damien's thing had worked, would have been, what were you going to meet? Anything like that, which he didn't specify, because that's actual information he doesn't want to leak and then have found out that he leaked it.
Interesting.
Ross was always better at interrogations.
Whittaker, why'd you knock him out? Am I gonna have to carry him back?
I had a rough day.
It helps that Spiegel is the good cop to her bad cop.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, you bring an unconscious Cooke back to the main area of the campsite. Yep. He's got one more busted lip than you did before.
We found him like this.
Gary comes out of the camp offices. Or rather, I suppose Hugo and Aiden are in the office, so Gary could just approach the two of them. He walks over to you, Hugo, and he says,
"Oh, hey there, Hugo. Are you feeling okay there? Is Aiden? Oh, you gotten the tea set up. Well, wonderful. You'll be feeling as good as new pretty soon there. Sorry about your sea legs there. You just gotta get used to it, I'm afraid."
Yep. Oh boy, I'll get there.
You know, we should get some food in you. I didn't eat much before we left. Right. So, Pike's not in great shape, but I don't think we're gonna lose him in the night. I've put a call in for an emergency ambulatory thing to come in and pick him up tomorrow, or as soon as they can get here. It's gonna be a little while. We're a bit out of the way, as you know. But, yeah, I can't thank you enough. And, oh, I see you're back there, Miss Brightwood.
"Hi, Gary. Yeah, got Whittaker back."
"That's wonderful. That's great. That's fantastic. Well, you guys are all set up in Cooke cabin if you'd like to stay the night, but I understand if you gotta get out of here and mosey. You know what your plan is."
I think we're probably going to head back. Honestly, I could use a nap. It's been oh God, how many hours has it been?
You haven't slept, so I think you've been awake now for almost 24 hours, Hugo. In fact, all of the humans have been awake for a very long time at this point.
Isn't Felicity there too?
Oh, true. Yeah, Felicity, you're there also. You could come in at this point, I guess, having decided not to follow Whittaker into the woods. Felicity, do you have an answer to Gary's question, or?
Felicity is sleeping. Felicity goes in there, full intentions to have a full conversation with them, sits down, and just knocks out.
Wonderful. Aiden speaks up. "I think we'll definitely use the cabin at least tonight. Maybe into the morning, and then we'll decide from there."
"Well, that sounds fine with me. I'm gonna call the missus, let her know that I'm gonna sleep down here and wait for the emergency transport for Pike and his friends, and then, well, back to business as usual, as they say. Old Echo Bay Marina and campsite. I'm your groundskeeper, Gary, and I'm at your service, so you let me know if there's anything you need, or if I can set you up in any way to make you more comfortable while you're here."
"Thanks, Gary. I'll let you know."
Right.
Gary goes off to handle the business of being the guy in charge around here. Raven, Whittaker, and Damien, you return. Where are you going to keep Cooke? I suppose there's a supply closet you could like lock him in or something and wait for the authorities to arrive. Whoever had made the call would have informed them that someone should arrest Cooke. I'm honestly, as a keeper, not sure what the procedure would be for arresting someone at a site you can only get to by seaplane. So probably a U.S. Air Marshal shows up?
Well, it's not the U.S. either is the problem.
That's true, it's in Canada! Yeah, because Cooke is not Canadian. He's here on a passport. It's complicated, and it's political, international stuff that I don't feel is interesting narrative. So
we'll just say he gets arrested.
I'll let you sort it out. I'm sure a call to the Eastey Agency would solve things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it would.
But Whittaker, yeah. How you feeling about that?
I mean, Whittaker's plan, I think Whittaker would express this at least to Damien. My problem is right now, as much as it would please me to see him taken away by officials, the truth is King O is going to get to him at some point or another, and I don't want any civilians to be there when it happens. Do you know what I'm saying? If he's sitting in a jail cell and King sends one of his boys to go get him, that's not something I want civilians to be around for.
Well, would you like us to be around for it?
I kind of would, actually.
Want to set a octopus trap?
I want to see who comes. I want to see who shows up. If we're not getting answers out of this guy, maybe we can get answers out of whoever comes for him.
Judging by what happened to Flint and what Hugo was saying, I think we're going to have a bit of smoke to deal with. And I don't know how to fight that. Especially because Felicity said the creature just galloped over water. And water was my default anti-smoke strategy.
Maybe we just watch then. Just see what happens. Try not to get noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to watch a beheading. That would be cool.
But you don't gotta say it like that. No! I just want to know. I just want to see what we're up against. Because I haven't seen this thing yet, and I've gotten some really weird descriptions thus far. And I would actually like to see what it is everyone's talking about. Damien, I don't think you realize how hard it is for me not to see the magical creatures everyone's talking about all the time.
I can imagine that things are a little bit more stressful for you. And I'm totally down. I mean, I'm glad you're interested in watching. I thought you'd be more proactive for stopping a monster from killing a human. But no, righteous. Let's do it. Let's serve him up.
Who works for King? I don't know. It's yeah. I guess we should just set up somewhere.
Is Raven part of this conversation?
Would Raven like to be a part of this conversation?
I think she was nearby, but I thought it was mentioned that like the two of you specifically were talking, so I didn't know if she was within earshot.
Yeah, you did say you wanted to talk about this just with Damien Whittaker, so.
If Raven was around, he wouldn't move away, but he was not directed to Raven in any way. So if she wanted to hear, she could.
Hey, Raven, do you want to watch a guy's head get cut off?
All right.
You know,
Jesus Christ.
I really don't, but I think I have an idea. I mean, if Cooke is stable enough that we could put him, just into the woods somewhere, maybe try and guess like the location where he's going to meet up with someone sent from the king. I mean, I've got a couple little cameras we could set up. Just plop him in the woods, train some cameras on him, see who shows up.
Give him a holy water pistol to defend himself with on the off chance it's demonic.
Let's just get more fucked up the more we talk about it.
Or we just, hide behind a tree and watch. But I do like the idea of not quite setting a trap because we wouldn't be ambushing anything, but put Cooke out there, see who shows up to talk to him.
Yeah. Listen, the more I calm down on the whole thing, it does seem really messed up.
You're also absolutely sleep-deprived, Whittaker and Raven, and Damien is a bad influence. So this might not be the plan you follow through on once you get some sleep under your belts, which honestly you should probably do. It's been a very rough few hours for all of our heroes here.
I am serious, though. I don't want the smoke monster showing up while this guy's in like a Canadian jail. I feel like that could go bad very quickly for the people who don't know about it. Like, that bit I am sure of.
Absolutely. I will say that Felicity told you the smoke monster ran away on the water's surface, and if it was going to deliver a message to King in person, you could have Raven or you do some of the math, Whittaker, but like even at high supernatural speeds, they probably haven't even made it to Portland yet. You know what I mean? Like if they're running physically and not just magically teleporting, you're way up in Canada, and Portland is a whole, district of Canada, and then the state of Washington, and then a little ways into Oregon. So
somebody wake Felicity up so she can tune in to the smoke monster.
Someone wake up Felicity so she can break the game.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
so
but
it would take some time for King to learn of the failure.
Well, not even. It would take him some time to know that Cooke said, meet me at the rendezvous point. And then he would have to meet at the rendezvous point. Cooke wouldn't show up, and then he might get suspicious.
Gotcha, yeah, okay.
You have a little bit of time before really anything is going to reach King's ears and for him to, retaliate or send this creature back out to go look for Cooke. So, as a bit of, keeper advice, sitting around here at Echo Point with a camera on Cooke sitting on a stump in the woods, you're not really going to get a lot of results from that, just because the monster has no intention of coming back and no reason to at this point.
That's a good point. Okay. So authorities are already coming, so I guess if he's
Yes, the human mundane authorities are coming to get Pike to a hospital. They can arrest Cooke, and probably Beverly and Alice would be very, very much into that idea, at least. I don't think they would be comfortable letting you guys just keep him as a prisoner.
Stunt double it so that they have someone to keep in their jail cell.
I mean, we can't keep splitting the party like this. Natalie's got enough on her plate as it is.
Who?
Thanks, Whittaker.
Sorry, what?
The voice of God just...
God, I really need some sleep, don't I?
Whittaker's sleep deprived and jet lagged. He doesn't know what time zone he's in.
Jet lag and jet lag back in the same 12-hour period.
Oh,
that's not even physically possible for a regular person to do.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right. Enough talk.
Let's go to sleep. Let's long rest.
Everybody shut up.
We'll
Aiden
drag
and
Felicity
Hugo,
back to the cabin.
Yeah, they help Felicity up and get her tucked into bed. And our humans go to sleep.
Whittaker actually does stay up for maybe obviously he's exhausted, but he does have his phone on, and he's just looking at that one text for just another another hour before he actually he can't take it anymore and just passes straight out.
Damien and Aiden don't sleep. Is there anything you want to do or talk to her about before we transition into the next day? And
yes, Aiden, I am sorry. I don't mean to bring any permanent harm to Felicity. I did get out of hand, and I appreciate the swiftness of your opinion, and I thank you for it, because I genuinely need Felicity alive and well and happy and healthy and liking me so that I can get summoned back if anything is to happen. So I am on the same side, and I apologize.
Well, you helped everyone out when I was away, and I appreciate that.
While we're on the topic, it just seems to me like you've picked a favorite. You don't say, hey, I've got to protect Benny and the Jets, because you like the Jets just as much as Benny.
I don't think you would know anything about that.
I wouldn't, but if you ever like someone even 1% more than the rest of the group, then you picked a favorite.
She shrugs and looks over at everyone who's asleep. Well, maybe I have. And looks back at you as she starts to put her headphones back in. Let's just say I know where you stand.
That's fair. Damien is going to go to the Lost and Found and drop off a lot of items.
Because he doesn't need them anymore.
Not everything, but definitely anything similar to the service dog vest, the walking stick for the blind, a prosthetic hand.
Oh, God.
He's evil, but I have to give him a little bit of a redemption. So.
Damien, it's not been that long since you life-drained Felicity. Aiden, she would not, even under normal circumstances, I think, be over that. But also, you trying to, point out, even if you don't know what she and Whittaker went through, that like, oh, is Felicity your favorite? Her, you wouldn't know anything about that line is targeted more at the fact that you're an envy demon with a very short attention span. Her opinion of what you think a favorite might mean is very low. You pick up very quickly that she's not in the mood to be talkative tonight. Any other night you've gone to like chat with her, she's been polite and just small talked with you the whole evening, but she is hard into just headphones and then not responding to you.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's spookier than ghosts and monsters and vampire boss bitches? A longer than expected podcast hiatus. Hey adventurers, it's Natalie. Did you miss the squad and me? I definitely did. First off, apologies for being away. We didn't plan on extending our break for so long, but time is a limited resource and life got real hectic for a while for basically the entire cast, but mostly me. The details are boring in the retelling and not all that fun to talk about, but the good news is I've finally managed to restructure my schedule to make room for editing and producing the show again. In fact, there's quite a few improvements just a couple episodes away that hopefully will make the wait worth it. While we didn't have time to put out episodes, we were still working behind the scenes to improve the overall experience of following and listening to this show for y'all. Now you might be thinking, but Natalie, what are these improvements you keep talking about? Well, by episode 30, which marks the official start of our Season 2 arc, the entire cast switches to local recordings on better mics, and we've hired a sound engineer and a second editor to help with raising the quality of our audio and lightening my load as the primary editor. All this technical stuff takes time to figure out and get comfortable with, but in the long run, it makes us feel like we're making the best show we can with the resources we got available. I'm really happy to be sharing the story with all of you again. I missed making the episodes a ton. If you were able to catch up during our break and you didn't even notice the gap, lucky you! And if you're a new listener getting to this episode long after a small pause would even be noticed, be sure to thank whoever turned you onto the show. They probably were patient enough to wait for us through our growing pains and dodging of life obstacles. Wow, your friend actually sounds super cool, so do something nice for them for me, okay? That's about it. Happy Halloween, adventurers. It's really great to be back.
You all sleep. You can mark off any harm that you have as having been removed, and you wake up the next day. It is probably 11:30, approaching noon the next day. You guys are all really tired. What do?
Whittaker goes for his swim.
Okay, routine. I love it.
Gotta stick to the routine.
Breakfast is ready. I got bacon and eggs and pancakes.
Good morning, everybody. I think, as the leader of this team, that we should have a team meeting.
Absolutely, team leader.
Thank you. I want to go home. That's the meeting. I feel like we did this, and I kind of have a lot to talk about with my mom, and I just feel like I may have dropped a big bomb on her and then dipped. So, your team leader has spoken. Anybody else?
I don't recall voting for a leader, but I agree. I think we can talk about heading home.
I second this plan completely.
Hugo was up 2 hours ago packing stuff.
Our real team leader.
I mean, the mission's, as far as I'm concerned, done. So, we have no reason to stay here.
I would like to say goodbye to Gary.
Oh, yeah. No, we definitely have to
say goodbye to Gary.
Good! Okay.
We're not fucking monsters. Well. Anyway.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If you go look for Gary, he is actually in the camp center office there's his big comfy leather chair behind the counter where you would like ring the bell and like ask for assistance. And he's got his big flappy eared hat pulled down over his face so you can kind of only see his mustache and beard, which again you know is Bigfoot fur. And he's just snoozing. It's a nice day. It's sunny again.
Hey Gary,
No.
sorry to wake you. No,
Oh,
it's been a long night.
yeah, I dozed off there. Sorry, I was, got up pretty early when the emergency medics came and ferried, old Pike there out of here.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, no, Beverly went with him. She's gonna make sure he gets all patched up and stuff.
And they think he's gonna be okay?
I think so, yeah, no. It didn't hit anything vital or anything like that, so it should be fine.
That's good.
Can't imagine he's having a real fun time, though. Vernon, his old mate there, turned on him and stuff.
Oh, speaking of, you're going to want to use this gun for evidence. And Damien puts Cooke's gun on the counter. I was going to keep it, but I suppose you guys will want to be official.
Right. Well, that would have been important to give the authorities this morning at 6 a.m. when they showed up.
Oh, was cooking. Huh.
Well, I'll call him. Maybe I can mail it. And, we'll see if your Canadian Post is, behind us in that endeavor.
Perfect.
I think we kind of wanted to come say bye.
Or are you going to head out as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot. And no offense, kind of over camping for right now.
I completely understand, yes. Normally, we would have wanted to provide you with a much more relaxing and, what's Danny always saying? Chill vibes.
Now, listen, Gary, we will come back. I promise you that. We'll be back for an actual vacation and not have absolute mayhem happen.
That would be lovely. Yeah, we'd be happy to have you back up at the house. I'm sure Vivian's love to see you all again. She's, she actually called me this morning checking up on y'all, so she's,
You've got to meet Vivian.
Oh, that's right, you never... Oh, I'm so sorry there, Whittaker. Yeah, well, you definitely have to come back again and meet the wife and me son. And, yeah, no, pleasure having you folks. Honestly, can't thank you enough for answering my letter and coming up after I contacted me old cousin Norm there. Tell him I say hi, by the way.
Oh,
I haven't seen him in a dog's age. Right, well, as soon as you got your bags packed, the water taxi should be here around this, half an hour from now, I suppose. And, that'll get you back, and then you can pick up your car and head down to the States.
Gary, you have been absolutely lovely.
I must say the same about you there, Miss Sternbrook.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, appreciate your work up here, mate. And if Pike comes back or if anyone else comes poking around, you let us know.
Well, actually there, Mr. Whittaker, I did have something to ask you about. That young lady Alice, she said she wanted to stay on and, spend a little time around the lake. I wondered what your thoughts on that were.
Well, considering I did not happen to be here for the bulk of the entertainment, I'm not sure if my opinion on the matter is the most informed, but I don't like it.
I don't think we have to worry too much about her. I mean, I talked to her a little bit. I think she's gonna try and stay away from this type of stuff based on the experiences she's had. I can go talk to her again before we leave just to be sure if we should keep an eye on her or anything. But from what it sounds like, she doesn't want anything to do with supernatural stuff. She wants to go back to her normal ocean creature research.
Whittaker, it might be worth you talking to her just because I sort of introduced the concept of the Eastey Agency and I'm Damien goops his hand. Intimidating.
Please stop threatening people.
I wasn't threatening her. She saw me take down Cooke, which was super cool and awesome, but,
It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation.
Well, Miss Eugenia, I actually trust your read on people a lot better than I trust my own. I'll check in with her briefly, but only as a formality, I think. Thank you for letting me know, Gary.
Absolutely, yeah. Didn't want to push any folks out. They've all been through a pretty traumatic experience, I'd say, and for that matter, so are you. So if you want to head back to your comfort zones of home, then can't blame you for that.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
All right. You guys bid
Felicity's
goodbye
gonna
to...
give Gary a giant hug.
He will return the hug, and though it doesn't look like it, you can feel his massive Bigfoot arms squeezing you tight and giving you a big old monster hug there.
Bye, Gary. I'll miss you.
Oh, you can come up anytime, write me a letter, send me a note. I'm happy to be in touch.
I'll take you up on that.
Righto.
You step outside of the camp office. The taxi will come and pick you guys up and you can leave. Whittaker, you see Alice is down by the pier, just sitting off the edge of the dock. Richards is on a phone, pacing back and forth near there. So you can talk to either of them, or both of them if you want. Or divvy up those duties amongst your team.
What was Richard's read on the whole situation by the end there?
He is just as pissed at Cooke for having betrayed them and shot Pike and, basically been the final cause of his ship being sunk. And Richards, in case it wasn't clear, is a pessimist and had always expected something like this to happen.
Yeah, that was the vibe.
So his whole thing is not so much that he's like shocked or surprised. He's just like, yeah, of course this would happen. Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, of course my ship would sink. It's been coming for years. Like, he's just...
Oh my god. All right.
You see he's on the phone seemingly talking very animatedly with someone.
Yeah, I'll just talk to Alice right now and just keep my voice down. I'm just trying to isolate this as much as possible.
Yeah, they're not
Anyone
standing...
else would like...
They're not sitting close to each other at all. She's just on the edge of the dock. She actually has her shoes off. You can see they're like sitting next to her, and she's just like got her feet in the water.
Should be noted, Whittaker, while he's not wearing his three-piece suit, he is wearing a button-up, looking very official for someone at a campsite.
Is it the white button-up with like the jeans?
Oh yeah,
The, like
that's
half.
a good
Yeah.
look. Yeah, they're nice jeans. He is going to walk up and take a seat down next to her. Mind if I join you?
Not at all. Just watching.
Take it you're going to hang around for a little longer?
Yeah, I spent a lot of my life thinking about this place and what's out there. Guess I'm just not ready to let it go yet. And she flinches. She's like, I'm not gonna cause any problems for your people.
All right. I hope that wasn't too threatening, but it is very, very serious sort of situation. I hope you realize.
No, I got that much.
Well, I thought I'd just check in and make sure you and the rest of your team were okay.
Well, not really a team anymore.
No, I suppose not.
Seems like yours is back together. Should I ask how you got back?
Oh, didn't get that far away. It's fine. Is anyone else in your group? Should I be worried about any of them?
Well, Beverly saw it. I think she might be done with chasing it, though. I don't really know how Pike's doing.
Pike's the one I'm worried about, if anything.
If it helps at all, he was probably the least likely to become a believer in the first place. I think he was only doing this as a publicity thing.
Well, if he does get interested in it again, or it looks like he's thinking of coming back, make it clear that if that thing feels threatened again, we might not get so lucky. People will get hurt, and if they don't, it will get hurt, and you'll have an extinct species on your hand before he can even publish a paper.
It's kind of why I want to stick around.
I trust you. I want to make that clear. I'm not worried about you, and it seems like Miss Eugenia has a good read on you, and I trust her opinion. But don't keep your nose in this for longer than you have to. It's my advice to you.
Thank you. I don't think I should trust you, but I will, because thanks to your team, I am alive. So I owe you that much.
Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Okay. As you are walking past Richards, who hasn't really acknowledged you or anything, you just hear him yell, "It's gonna pay out how much?"
I love him.
I think I saw in F chat, Hugo, you were absolutely right. His expensive insurance policy has just kicked in.
Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
Poor guy.
Oh no, this is a good thing. His ship sank. He's gonna get a huge payout. So
I still feel bad.
oh yeah, no, his life has absolutely been a misery ever since he started working with Aaron Pike. God, I love Paul Richards. So funny. Yeah, so I think that's all the follow-up you guys have to do here with the characters from the Willatuk Lake Monster arc.
Can Raven do one quick thing?
Sure. The seaplane taxi has shown up to transport you. You guys are loading your stuff on. What's the last thing you want to do, Raven?
If Alice is still on the dock after Whittaker has left, she's gonna go over to her quick. I don't even think she's gonna really sit down. She's just gonna like crouch and just be like, "Hey, I just wanted to check and make sure Whittaker didn't like freak you out or anything."
No, I think I get his deal.
Okay, we're heading out, so I wanted to make sure you're all good. Say goodbye. And then Raven's gonna pull out an Eastey Agency business card that she wrote her phone number on, and she's gonna hand it to her, in case you lose the first one, and just hand it to her.
She takes that, kind of grins, looks at you, and she says, "Well, I probably won't lose 2 business cards. If I need anything,
get up.
if I need anything or something else weird happens, I'm glad I have someone I can call."
See you around. It's just gonna take off.
All right. A very James Bond thing to do, Agent Eugenia. You guys hop on the seaplane and leave Echo Bay. And then travel back to Autumn Falls and everyone's homes. I think we will now enter a little period of downtime. What does everyone's character want to do, having returned to the origin of our story?
I would like to talk to Aiden. So,
Do you do this once you're all back in Autumn Falls, or like while you're road tripping from Canada home?
I'll say right as we get home. Everyone's dispersed, but it's like immediately as soon as we get back.
So you probably have all been dropped off by Whittaker in the camper, which is going to go back and park at the campsite place where there's space for it to stay while he's in town. Honestly, she probably would have like gotten out at your house and been like, "I'll just fly home," or whatever after, if you asked to talk to her.
So, I was wondering if I want to talk to my mom again. And last time I kind of messed it up. And you came in and smoothed everything over a little bit. I would kind of like if you would come when I try to talk to her again.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. What do you want to talk to her about?
I feel like I kind of... Well, I didn't know it at the time, I guess. But dropped kind of a heavy load on her. And I just kind of wanted to like maybe clear some things up so that she knows that I'm not scary and like I won't hurt her or anything like that, and that it's okay, like I'm fine, and she has nothing to be afraid about, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Did you want to do that now, or maybe in a couple days?
Yeah, I guess a couple days would be good.
I'm not far away. If you need me, I'll be there.
I'll text ya.
Okay. She gives you a big hug, and she lingers in it for a minute there, and then lets go, takes a couple steps down off your front stoop. See you soon. And she, golden flash, is gone.
I'll go inside, I'll go to open the door, and then remember that I called my mom, but I haven't seen my tree in a while.
That's true.
So I'll go run over to my tree and tell her about my adventure.
Okay. You sit on your swing, you wait for the sound of sticks and acorns dropping or leaves rustling in the wind, and Grandmother Oak Tree says, "Welcome home, Felicity."
Hello! It's been a while.
Yes. And you share your adventure. She responds with all the appropriate oohs and ahs. Sounds like you've had quite the adventure since leaving home. Does
For
it feel
sure.
good to be back?
Yes, that too. I like being out and fighting monsters and stuff because it's really fun, and I have like I have a good group of friends now. So that's like, we actually all like each other now. And it's been like really good. Except for the life draining part. That was questionable, but we won't talk about that. But I also, it's like, it's easier at home.
I have only known this place, and I quite like it.
I have a question for you. You've been here for like a really long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever talked to anybody else?
There have been those who came by to speak to me and the other trees in the area. I wouldn't say I got to know anyone as well as I know you.
That's pretty cool.
It is nice.
Was there anyone else that like would come by like a lot, or did they just like swing through?
There's never been a druid who lived on this particular bit of land.
Oh, okay. I was just curious how many friends you had,
I have you and the sky, the ground my roots nestle in, the blades of grass that I shade beneath my leaves, and the birds who come to their nests in my canopy.
That must be pretty cool to be a tree.
It's a good life.
I'm gonna go see my mom now. Did I tell you about what happened with my mom?
Yes, but she has not seemed upset since you've been gone. She is handling things in her own way.
I'm just a little bit worried that she's gonna like look at me different.
Different is not always bad. If her understanding of you has changed, but it is because you told her the truth, that's a good type of change. If she sees the real you.
You're right. Okay. I'm gonna go inside now then.
I'll be here. The wind rustles the branches again.
And I'll run in.
You run in through the back door. Your mom hears someone in the house. She comes down. Felicity?
Mom! Hi!
Hi! And she runs over and gives you a big hug.
It's been a wild vacation, Mom. It was so much fun.
I'm really glad. How are your friends doing?
They're great. All of them are great. I know Aiden's gonna be coming over in a couple days.
Okay, yeah. She's nice.
She's like the nicest, right?
How are your other friends?
My other friends?
The little ones?
Oh, I counted them in the group. We're all in this together,
Tom flutters out from inside your hair, and Ghosty pokes his head up out of the pocket, and they're not glamoring themselves in front of your mom now. And she kind of jumps a little bit at Tom, but then good. Hello. She just waves at them a little awkwardly,
I'm gonna take Ghosty out of my pocket. Do you want to hold him? He doesn't bite. He's fine.
Oh, okay. She tentatively cups her hands, she'll hold him for a second. But she does that thing where a mom who doesn't really want to hold her kid's pet gerbil, so they're a little skeevish about it, but she's gentle with him, and she's just wow.
He's very nice.
Ghosty's just sitting there looking around okay, and then hands it back to you.
I'll put it back in my little coat pocket.
She claps her hands together. She says, "Right, well, you're back. I should make dinner."
Yeah, what are we gonna have?
What do you want?
Crepes.
Crepes it is. And you and your mom have crepes. It's lovely.
Yay!
She doesn't ask you about details of your trip, and I'll leave it up to you how much you go into detail about how dangerous it was, or how many monsters you encountered. How safe for parent do you make the story?
Very.
Okay.
I still haven't told her that we go out and fight monsters. That's
true.
I'm not telling her that.
Okay.
She won't let me hang out with these people anymore. So yeah, I'm definitely no mention of monsters. I leave in all the nice camping details of like us hanging out around the campfire. We made friends with the guy who ran the camp store, and we got to go up to his house and meet his wife and his kid, and we had dinner and it was lovely. So that's what I tell her about.
Okay. You can tell she is more comfortable with the truth about your magic and the spirits that are your friends/pets. And she's not really looking at you differently, but the only change you might notice is that, how to say it, she's being very gentle with you. I think she's feeling a little bit of the same trepidation that you're feeling, where it's like, I found something new out about my kid, and that's new and different, and she's got to process that. She doesn't want to hurt your feelings by saying or doing the wrong thing in regards to it. So, if anything, she's being a little over careful in how she speaks and acts around you.
Cool. Okay.
Who's next? Who has a downtime thing they'd like to do while they're here in Autumn Falls? Hugo? Whittaker? Raven?
I've talked a lot this adventure.
I know.
First.
We can save yours for last or something. Hugo, you're back in Autumn Falls. What are you up to?
I'm trying to think about how long Hugo's stuff would take, because it involves checking in with Noriko and Haru probably during a session at the dojo. Probably checking in with Rhea and Zuri.
Yeah.
I was going to have Raven go to the dojo as well if we want to do kind of like a joint thing, and then Hugo can also do other stuff.
Yeah, let's double up on that scene then. So, it's been a couple days, we'll say, after you guys have come back to Autumn Falls. You've been able to, at least for now, fall back into a semblance of normalcy. When, Raven, you and Hugo go to the first class you've been to in a while, because you haven't been to class, Haru and Noriko give you kind of a surprised but eager welcome. Noriko is very bubbly and friendly, and she's like, "Oh, welcome back! Haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been?"
Took a little camping vacation. Figured we'd get out of town for a bit.
Good to get away, obviously.
Yeah. Relax. Do a whole bunch of nothing. It was good.
Yeah, change it up from the scenery around here, right? I mean, Autumn Falls, oof.
It is good to be back, though. You don't realize how much you love your town until you leave.
Haru, who's already on the mats, says, Raven! Kids class starts in 5 minutes! Let's go!
Oh, I thought I could get out of that.
Nope.
Nope!
Raven will just sigh and put her stuff down and go get ready.
You run through the kids' class. Haru is there to assist you. Why don't we roll for that? Why don't you act under pressure? Just
Why
see
did
how
you do
well
this
you're...
to me?
It's fun.
Act under pressure. Why? Okay. I rolled a 7, but my cool is -1. So I got a 6.
On brand.
Amazing.
Has every single roll this game been a 6 so far?
I think there's been a lot of fails so far, which is good that it happened this episode and not last episode.
On the bright side, I have been needing one more experience point to level up for the last several sessions, and I finally got it. It was the kids' karate class that leveled me up.
Wonderful.
It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It's awkward. You're not in the headspace to teach a bunch of kids the basics of karate in this moment. You were expecting to just come back and be able to go through the motions and get your workout in. But now Haru is challenging you with this mental teaching exercise. Ugh. When the class wraps up, the kids, they don't care. They don't know that you're doing a bad job of corralling them and keeping the class focused and disciplined. But Haru says, "And what do we say to our sensei here at the dojo, kids?" And they're like, "Thank you, Sensei Raven!" And they all bow and then go get their sneakers on and return home to do their homework and stuff. And then your adult class happens right after. So you've just got to prep to now go through your class. And Haru pats your shoulder and he says, "Gets easier the more you do it."
Sure hope so.
Hugo, you're there for class. Noriko gives you a questioning look when she sees you're back also. And she says as you come in and check in, "Did you go on vacation?"
Sure, you can call it a vacation. I went to deal with a problem, and it was dealt with.
Okay, well, I would check in when you can. Don't want to be late for class. And her friendly demeanor comes back.
He's only slightly shaken. Just a little bit.
You go into class. Haru, when you spar with him during the class, Hugo has one moment where he's demonstrating a lock and then drops you, gets you on the ground again. And as he's giving the instruction, he takes 2 seconds to just lean in and say, "We should talk tonight," and then goes back to teaching.
And he's going to get up and he's going to crack his back slightly because that one actually hurt a little bit. A little bit too much force.
All right, everybody, form up. And you go through the rest of class. Raven, is there anything you want to address while you were at the dojo? Did you have things you wanted to talk to Haru and Noriko about, or?
Not particularly. Raven just wanted to get back into her normal life and realized she hadn't been to the dojo in a long time. Ironically enough, I was hoping to go as kind of a trying to force her to level up, and it worked surprisingly well. So
All right. So Raven, you go through the rest of your class anyway, without any sort of notes or anything. But as you go to leave, Noriko pulls you aside again, and she says, "So if that class was really easy for you, there's one that I take a little later in the evenings that I think maybe you'd be interested in."
Oh yeah? I didn't know we had any after this one.
The dojo doesn't run them.
Oh.
More of a self-directed type of class.
Huh.
It's not just me, though.
Okay.
Hugo will let you know.
Okay. Cool.
And again, her demeanor shifts, and she's like, "Sounds like your vacation was so fun. I've got to check out that marina place. Sounds awesome." And kind of just shoos you away. Do you want to keep going, Hugo? Are there other people you wanted to check in with?
The other one's probably not going to check in. Not right now, at least.
Okay. Then I will ask Whittaker and Damien. Been a couple days. What are you guys up to in Autumn Falls?
If we don't have a specific assignment, Damien would see if Prithee knows when the next agency board member meeting is.
Okay.
Because I like eavesdropping.
That's true. You call or get in contact with Prithee through email or a burner phone, or it depends, I guess, on the level of paranoia you're employing.
Phone call from a burner.
They tell you that board meetings at the Eastey Agency usually don't mean anything, because the board of the Eastey Agency are a lot of folks that are the liaisons to Washington. And so Olivia Eastey updates them on what the agency needs and how its mission is going, but they actually don't know much about the supernatural world. They just know that the Eastey Agency is a vital and important part of protecting the country, but they're sort of, not puppets, but they fill the role of board members so that certain bureaucratic and financial paperwork and things can all just be checked by people who are not looking for a secret agency. It's just like, oh, fill out these papers for the Eastey Agency. Oh, what do they do? Just fill it out. We need it by tomorrow. So, but they will say that the sort of thing you might actually be interested in is Olivia Eastey's personal call log and meetings that she schedules for herself, which will take a bit of digging and a lot of very careful, cautious hacking work on Prithee's end. If you want, I can roll Investigate a Mystery as Prithee and let you give them the help action, but I will say that the risk is if I somehow roll really bad as Prithee, there will be consequences.
We can back burner that. I think Damien will do the like a snoop like he did last time for Olivia on one of the nights.
You're gonna go all the way back to Portland?
Oh shit, that's right. We're 5 hours out.
Yeah, you're not close to the Eastey
You're not
Agency
close.
HQ at all
Okay.
right now.
Oh, we're not even close to any of the nightclubs. This is the worst. Why did we come here? Whittaker, I'm bored. There's no nightclubs here.
It's a smash cut to all of this brainstorming, and then the bubble pops, and David is just sitting in the sink as a puddle of green slime. I'm bored.
Well, Damien, you still haven't filed your post-mission report yet, so you could do that if you're bored.
I don't know how I feel about being an agent. It was all fun and games, but fine, I'll do the paperwork. What's this? Just reporting and saying what I did?
Pretty much, yeah.
How much do you bullshit on these?
It depends on the job. If I had another agent on the job, I don't bullshit as much because they cross-reference them. This one's kind of a weird one for me because I wasn't there for a little bit of it. But
are you gonna bullshit that?
No, I'm not gonna bullshit that. Oh,
yeah.
The getting back, I might have to bullshit. We're gonna say Felicity summoned me back when she summoned back the
nice.
The big one.
Nice, I like that.
Because I don't want to outspiegel a Ross either, actually.
How does this look for a first draft? I embellished a little bit. I put in a few extra punches for the
There's
fight
actually
scene.
You actually dedicated like a whole 2 pages to the fight with Cooke, and that seems like a little much.
Yeah,
my
time
opinion.
slows down when you're in a fight.
It really is.
So-
Like this is actually this is like a screenplay. Like I should submit this somewhere.
Thank you.
Like you could animate this beat for beat. You've got camera angles in here too. That's interesting.
Oh wow!
Well, that's
Is this,
that's how movies work. So I just
this
sort of...
still bit right here. Is that the song that was playing in the background?
Yeah, it faded in and out. So I've got the chorus in there, but
Wow.
Yeah, actually, that's an egregious misspelling of Cooke's name, and to keep this PG-13, you will need to spell that correctly.
okay.
Oh goodness. Yeah, so I guess you guys do paperwork. Whittaker, is there
Yes.
anything you're gonna do on the investigative side of things, or are you just taking it? You're not looking for an active mission right now.
I was actually going to try and spar with Hugo, but I think the sparring bit happened already, so I'm going to do some investigation instead.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't want to overwrite that bit. I'm more curious to see Raven's thing. I'm curious to see where Raven goes with that little beat without having to intrude on it.
Okay.
So I am going to investigate whatever that smoke monster is.
Sure.
Start putting in the Google searches and the Eastey Agency report searches and all that. All right, cool. It's an 8. Get 1 question. I guess the question I'm asking is, what sort of creature is it? What's the name? What can we start with? Has there been anyone in the Eastey Agency who's seen anything like it? Is another sort of aspect of that, I think.
What sort of creature is it? I will say what you know about this thing from what Felicity told you, and I would think from what Hugo shared eventually, maybe on the drive back, is that this thing can seemingly form itself into smoke and be essentially formless, but that when Cooke freed it, it took on the form of a centaurian shape and then booked it and ran across the surface of the water. You don't find anything in the Eastey Agency database about a monster made of smoke, but you know a few things already. Smoke is a very good indication of a demonic influence, because as you know, Damien constantly smells a little bit of wood smoke, and the hellhounds that you encountered that Azazel sicked on you all were made of this living smoke filled with fire. You know that centaurs exist. They're just a type of magical person that can exist in the world. This thing probably isn't a centaur, but if you wanted to go talk to some centaurs about what it might be, that would be a lead you could follow. And you know of a centaur bar a little outside of Seattle.
By a little outside Seattle, do you mean within a comfortable driving distance? Or is that something for another episode?
It doesn't matter, because we're in downtime. You can drive there and then be back in Autumn Falls for the next, like, actual narrative beat. So if you want to just do that scene and go talk to some centaurs, you can.
Okay, cool. He'll extend this invitation to the group chat, so he's not doing this on his own, if anyone would like to join Whittaker. He's looking at Felicity because he suspects Felicity might have been a horse girl, but he's, like, not sure.
Felicity was not a horse girl. I'm going to make that canon right now.
Raven, do you got a secret horse girl past I should know about right now?
Definitely not.
Okay,
But
Hugo.
if you're looking
doors
for company.
Hugo doesn't check the chat.
Yeah, Hugo leaves everything on unread.
So Agent Whittaker has texted the group chat, and then he looks outside the trailer to ask the rhetorical question of, hey, Damien, I'm going to go to a bar. Are you interested? And you do see that Damien is a nice pony with a colored mane chomping on grass outside, or making Damien a horse girl.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Ooh.
What was it that you had texted? Did you say, like, where we were going, or did you just say, hey, centaurs?
Yeah.
Did you just ask who's the horse girl?
Which of you are the horse girl?
There's enough of us. There's gotta be one.
Is Aiden a horse girl?
It's fucking Aiden. We know it is.
He had a horse face.
Not even. Like, she likes animals. She's an angel.
It's not a phase.
It's not a phase for her. Like, if anything, if you say, like, I'm going to check out a thing, like, she absolutely would offer to come with you if you wanted company.
All right.
Yeah, if you just ask us, are you horse girls?
No.
Answer's no. If you say, do you want to come on an adventure to come and find some centaurs? Answer is yes.
The question is going to investigate a centaur bar, I guess, for leads on Smoke Creature. Anyone interested in joining?
Felicity will text back in all capital letters, yes, with a bunch of horse emojis.
Excellent.
Okay. This doesn't have to be super long. This can just be, like, quick little scenes. So whoever wants to go, you can go, and it won't remove you. It won't remove you from other scenes if we want to do those.
Yeah. Quick trip, fun.
Yeah. You
Nothing
pop over
crazy.
to, close to Seattle. It's certainly a day trip sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys pop into the Whittaker mobile and drive over to this highway side bar. It's actually not in any town or city proper. It's maybe on, like, the outskirts of where a town would start at the next exit up. But you take an off-ramp to get to this place, which is nestled a little bit off the highway. And when you pull up, Whittaker, you only know that this is a centaur bar because it's in the Eastey database as one. And when you pull up, this place looks like a biker bar.
Oh boy.
Felicity, what you see is a bunch of centaurs with long, grizzly, graying beards and bandanas, and other lady centaurs with, like, big dolled-up hair and pearls and, leather jackets and everything. And they're all just sort of trotting around the parking lot, and sometimes they'll go inside. There's, like, swinging saloon doors on the bar, and they just push past them. It's like a big, high-ceiling, tavern-arched roof on this building. There's neon signs for all the different beers and things in the window. And so you see it's just a bunch of centaurs hanging around. But Whittaker, it just looks like a biker place. Like, a bunch of bikes, leaned up and stuff. And it's odd, right, Felicity? Like, you wouldn't think that the glamour would allow them to get off the bike and then leave but it all manages to make
It all
sense.
works out.
Thanks to magic.
Cool.
Yeah, and, like, they do act like rough and tumble bikers, but they just take up space in that way rather than physical space with their horse lower halves.
I'm gonna turn to Whittaker and be like, what? I've never seen a centaur before. This is so cool.
Whittaker squints. Oh god,
They're
are they
everywhere?
Are they all? Is it all of them?
Do I see anybody who is not a centaur, or is it all of them?
You see a couple satyrs, actually, like Mira. who are done up in very, like, pin-up-y attire with, like, bright red lipstick and little, like, drawn-in beauty mark, and they're, like, hanging around on the backs of a couple of these burly centaurs with the big tattoos and, like, chains around their neck and everything, and they're just kind of sitting on the back of the centaur, like, I don't know, like, chatting. Whittaker, you just see a couple of ladies who are, like, clearly hanging out with their biker boyfriends.
Yeah, there's looks like they're all satyrs and centaurs. It's just half people, half animal, all around.
I don't know why the Eastey Agency hires me to do anything anymore. I must be the most useless agent.
Are you kidding? Whittaker's track record is awesome.
Wow. I can't
Whittaker,
even...
come here. Hold still. And Damien is going to grab your face.
The answer's no. I'm not yes-anding to this.
I can fix your sight.
No,
just hold on.
Yeah, Aiden kind of just, like, bats your hands off Whittaker, Damien. He doesn't have to see them. It's fine. They're all centaurs, Whittaker. It's not that big a deal. Horse people, you can picture it.
Yeah.
she's not, like, you know, blown away by it or anything. She's seen centaurs before. And you guys come to... God, I didn't name the bar, because I didn't think we'd go immediately here this session, but I do know what this group is called, and they are the Crimson Order Centaur Club. Which, obviously, in all their patches is written out as Crimson Order Cycle Club, when it is glamored for you to look at, Whittaker.
Of course. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you all roll up in this truck, and as soon as anyone steps out of the car, all eyes are just a little quieter than it was when you first pulled up.
Hello!
It's alright, we're cool.
A couple of people wave. There's a younger centaur with, like, a denim vest and a red bandana around his neck who trots up to you, Felicity. What are you folks doing here? Don't see a bike on you.
I get it.
He just raises an eyebrow at that, like, what?
I'm so sorry. We don't mean to intrude. For what it's worth, I'm with the agency. I know what's up, and these folks, they're cool. They can see it all. There's nothing to hide here.
And you see his face absolutely change. He goes, "Oh, hey! Well, welcome! Any Eastey agents under the Crimson Order, come on in. We'll get you something to drink. You hungry? You folks hungry?"
Yeah, sure. We won't stay long.
My name's Andrew. Nice to meet all of you. Come on. You all can introduce yourselves. He brings you inside. He calls back, "Ma!" And they, like, a lady centaur who's a little older. She's got brown hair with some streaks of gray in it, very curly, done up in a ponytail with, like, 2 side braids down the side of her face. She says, "Well, hello! Oh, I see. Visitors off the road, Andrew?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it, Ma. They're with the agency." "Oh, how? Come on, sit down, have a seat. What can we do for you? Anybody want? We got the special today." And you can see, like, well, actually, Whittaker, you see on the menu, it's like cheese fries, double steak, blah blah blah. But the actual menu is like elvenberry salad and wildflower cornbread. It's all vegetarian.
Oh my god.
So, if you guys want to eat, you can eat. Who do you start just asking questions, basically?
Yeah, if Andrew's the one around, and since he was sort of the one who came up to us, yeah, I'll just go ahead and ask him. Andrew, if you're not busy at the moment, I came here sort of on slightly official business. I've got some questions about a centaur-esque figure that I was wondering maybe you or someone here might know a bit more about.
He says, trouble with a centaur, you say. Well, who really look like? You have a picture of him?
Not quite. It's more of a demonic presence or a demonic figure taking a centaur shape. It's a bit hard to explain. Yeah, I'll let someone else in the group's actually seen the dang thing describe it a little better.
That would be you, Hugo, but you said you aren't there?
I've seen
no,
it.
that's Felicity.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll describe the monster and exactly what I saw.
Andrew, who is now munching on like handfuls of raw spinach, he says, "Yeah, it doesn't sound like any of our riders." You said they fit in a case?
Yeah, they can kind of like into their case, you know?
I mean, it sounds like what you're dealing with is more a ghost than one of our folk.
Damien, when you were in King Octopus's, in the deep end, there we go, that's the word I was looking for, you had seen a person with a biker helmet and whatnot. Are we making that connection? Is that a connection we can make?
I think you absolutely could, yeah. Because they had been a little smoky around you, Damien, too.
Yeah, they looked sort of like this, and Damien can get probably the suit, but I don't think he has an extra helmet on him for that part.
You don't have anyone who sort of went rogue or went missing or might have been dabbling in something they shouldn't have or anything like that?
I mean, we run a pretty tight group here. I haven't really had any problems with people in a while. When motorcycles became a thing, we sort of took that opportunity to come out of the woods and like have lives again amongst people. But you know, we have needs, so we built these clubhouses and stuff, and then people kind of ruin that, and now there's all these clubs out there that are not the nicest. So we try and steer clear of that and just keep to ourselves. Humans, right? No offense.
Yeah. Hipsters in particular, you know?
So no, we haven't lost anyone to dark magic or anything like that. We're pretty simple people. We just like open roads, wide open spaces, that sort of thing. He looks over at Ma, and yeah, he says, "Ma, you ever heard of one of our kind becoming a ghost?" She says, "Suppose anything can become a ghost, really, if there's enough trauma to tether it to this world before it can move on. You think maybe any kind of demonic influence could sway a centaur's heart?" She says, "Anything's possible, son. It's a big world out there." You heard the lady. Anything's possible, Whittaker. But not one of our crew. I'll let you roll Investigate a Mystery, Whittaker. Or actually, no. What would this be? It would be a...
Is this bad situation?
No, this is a cool roll.
Just a straight cool roll.
Just a straight cool roll.
That's good. Whittaker's so cool. It was a 9.
9.
Pretty cool.
You see an older guy in the bar sitting at a little corner table with a stool and a full pitcher. Everyone who can see that he's a centaur sees that he looks like an older horse as well. This guy's grizzled and been around a while. He's got a scar down one eye and is just sort of sipping at the foam at the top of his beer, kind of muttering to himself. But he seems like he's been listening, Whittaker, and you pick this up just with your awareness of your surroundings.
Whittaker's gonna thank her, sort of stand up. He's like, "I think I'll grab a drink before I go." And he's gonna just sit down right next to that man.
Government man.
Loosely. Yourself?
Veteran.
See, he's got like a Fey army patch on his thing.
Fey army, oh man.
Supernatural people fought in the World Wars also. It just happened in a different place.
Yeah, no, oh god, that lore.
He says,
"If you're looking for dark dealings with our people, you're going to want to start reading up on more than the pleasant fairy tales."
Now, I'm a little familiar with the less pleasant ones. I don't suppose you could point me in any particular direction.
He rolls up his sleeve, and you see what looks like a figure on a horse that is headless and carrying a lantern and a long dark sword. And you're looking at that for a second, and he just goes,
"Hang on a minute,"
and puts his fingers in his beer and flicks you in the face with that like beer water. When you open your eyes, the glamour is dispelled on everything in the bar, and you can see this tattoo has changed also, and it's not a figure riding a horse. It is a centaur beheaded with a long sword and that same lantern.
Ooh.
And there is smoke rising from its fetlocks above the hooves.
"In the old world, they called them Doulahan. Centaur warriors killed in battle, but going on past when they should be resting. Sounds like you might have one of those to watch out for."
Sounds like it.
Mark my words, government boy. You look for a Doulahan, you're gonna find death.
Well, what else is new?
And he clinks his glass against yours and drinks it. So you get to see the Centaur Bar, now that he's helped you out a bit.
Nice, nice.
Anybody else want to talk to the Centaurs or do anything fun while you're here?
Can Damien shift into a centaur?
Yeah! Like, it's just another form. Roll me a sharp check, Damien.
8.
Okay. Whittaker coming to ask about a threat that was vaguely centaur-like in appearance would not really be the most offensive thing to do. In the supernatural world, it's less about, oh, we're gonna stereotype centaurs. It's like, centaurs would know about centaurs, so we're gonna go talk to them. But you turning into a centaur at a centaur bar is not the most kosher thing you could do, Damien. It's kind of their space, and they've made it apart from humans, and also you're a demon, and so, like...
That's fair. Damien will drink his water and end up leaving extra silverware and a salt and pepper shaker when he leaves that did not originate from this restaurant.
Okay. Yeah, I think thanks to your newfound, more grounded sense of self, you pull back on that impulse to look like them, because you're like, no, it's fine. I'll look like me, and I'm their guest, and also I'll leave some tips for them. And if nobody else has any information that they want to ask about, that was the little clue I'm going to throw at you, that this smoke monster is some sort of cursed centaur ghost. And you can return to Autumn Falls.
Can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that you literally gave us a headless horse man?
Or
Just
woman.
saying. Or woman. Headless,
Or woman.
Headless
Headless
horse
horse
entity.
person. God, the leftists will be at the death of us all.
Yeah, I was pretty happy that I figured out I could connect centaurs as glamored biker gangs into Doulahan mythology.
Well played.
Thanks. You know, I try with this world and connecting things so that it's not all just one thing. All right, yeah, so you return to Autumn Falls. A couple more days go by. So Hugo, Haru said that he wanted to talk to you that night. Where are you going to set up to meet?
Oh, back in the tunnels, of course. We're going to make as much use of that area as we can.
Absolutely. Do you access it through the museum?
Yeah. Just thinking time-wise it might be weird, but... And if anyone notices, oh well.
Raven, you get a text around 9:30 from Noriko. It says, I guess Hugo didn't mention this. Meet me at the dojo as soon as you can.
She'll text back, see you soon.
Do you go by yourself?
Yeah.
All right. Hugo, you get to the tunnel. Sorry, did you say you went to the museum to get there?
Yeah. Oh, actually, wait. The entrance in the dojo is shorter, so you probably just stay at the dojo.
Oh, like you would just stay there after class until evening?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Haru takes you out for sandwiches or something after class. He's like, we haven't hung out in forever, man. Let's go get a bite to eat. And you guys go have dinner together. You know, he chats to you the whole time at, like, the sub shop. He's just talking about, like, his day job at the dojo and, like, kids in class and talking about how good they're doing. He's like, I put Raven through the kids class thing. I think she hated it, but it's gonna help her in the long run.
She has to learn somehow.
Yeah, right? I mean,
Footwork.
if I make her do all the footwork for the kids, then maybe she'll pick it up herself a little more. And I'll do that, you know? So he talks shop of, like, teaching a martial art with you for a little while. He gets into, like, the philosophy of it a bit, and, you know, like, he's like, you gotta work out outside of class. If you never train before class is gonna be how you train, but you can't progress unless you... So he goes into that whole bit. And...
Hey, Haru.
Yeah?
Shot in the dark. Do you think Raven would be ready for our level of training?
Probably not. Cut to... Raven, you pull up outside the dojo. And Noriko is standing there beside her car. She's got like a espresso that she's sipping on. She says, hey, you made it! Sets the cup down on top of her car, goes over, gives you a hug. Did you bring your stuff? You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
Come on. And takes you inside the dojo, leads you into the back room of the dojo where like only staff is supposed to go, and then flicks a light on in this, what looks like maybe a closet for like a mop bucket, that kind of thing. but opens it up and then goes down. And it is a little basement storage area, but there's a panel on the wall that looks like maybe it controls the thermostat or a moisture guard or something. It's just that there's nothing like that in this room. And she beep, 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 beep. And the cinder block concrete wall of this little basement storage space starts to move backwards and then slide to the side. And she gestures in. She says, I don't really know how this whole thing is working anymore, but you know we exist, so come on. And she goes down the tunnel. You are brought by Noriko into this large coliseum area where it's not the same space where there was the tribunal about Whittaker and Hugo's fate that you came down here earlier for, but it does have a large domed ceiling and different training equipment that you have seen up at the dojo, but this stuff looks older and more like the classic traditional version of things. There are plenty of wooden sparring weapons on racks. There are tables off to the side with various crystals and skulls and pelts of animals and other ingredients and bottles and vials. It looks almost like a workshop for spellcraft. And there's a few extension cords running down here, and then that hook up to like laptops and things. And you see Noriko goes over to one of them, starts typing logs in, and she says, honestly, ever since Hugo put us in charge of things, we've been bringing in a lot of stuff that we wish we'd done a long time ago. Grandpa never let us use modern technology when we were training, but it really helps with setting things up. You hear footsteps echoing down one of the hallways, these corridors that just shoot off from this chamber in all directions. And you see two figures coming out of the dark, and they say, Noriko, who's here? And she turns around and she says, oh, Rhea, I brought Raven. Rhea and Zuri Singh of Singh's family practice come forward. They are also dressed ready to spar, and Rhea grins and she says, really? And cracks her knuckles. Let's see what you got, newbie. And that's where we will end tonight's session. Hope you're ready to get put through the ringer, Raven.
Oh boy.